Welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast. It is October,
Which means
it's Halloween all month.
yeah.
Or in this case, for the next week.
Yeah. Well,
Did we had a SpellCast in October, right? We did like two of them? Or one of them?
yeah. Yeah,
don't know.
we did at least one.
Our
That's been in
schedule
October.
has been a bit off that past couple of weeks, so yeah. It's practically Halloween already, so we were going to talk about horror games.
Yeah, which we've talked
kinda
about
done
before,
yeah.
but it's an appropriate time to bring up the topic again, maybe go a little more in depth with it, perhaps. Though I know we've talked about it a lot in the past. I don't know how much was recorded.
We talked about specific ones, not necessarily like the whole concept in general, but
yeah. Like, I know we had a conversation that was about, like, ideas we had. Like, we came up with one
for a specific
based
one,
on, like, what are things that are insanely creepy, and we kind of agreed on the whole, like, the empty eyes thing and stuff.
Just, like, characteristics of something that make it creepier than it should be.
Yeah. But was that any of that when recording?
I don't think so. Like, that was after a recording, and we were talking about, like, design ideas and stuff for a game that we're probably never gonna ever make, but yeah.
Yeah, but I have the notes for it.
Yeah.
It's in that little sketchbook, which is slowly becoming the monster sketchbook, because the only things I've sketched in it are, like, things that are right out of your nightmares.
At least out of your nightmares. My nightmares are very different.
Well, fair enough.
Probably.
It's funny.
I mean, I don't think you've ever actually said anything about your nightmares, so I don't have anything to judge by, but...
Oh, they're weird.
I can imagine. That kind of goes without saying. Dreams in general are weird.
Oh, they're weird. There's lots of weird stuff. Weird stuff. Not to get weird about it, but there's weird stuff.
Feel free to not elaborate on that.
No, I think it's better if it's vague. Because then it kind of leaves it to the imagination of the listener.
Like, oh god, what the fuck does this guy dream about?
Oh, the things.
Like, if Psychonauts took place inside your mind, it would be a horror game.
It might be some kind of weird, like, anime, weird fucking hentai shit. I don't know.
So it would be a horror game.
Depending on your point of view. It may, like, depending on point of view, it may be a horror game. It may be, like, you know, a fantasy game.
Like medieval fantasy, or...
Sure, why not?
I choose to believe that's what you mean.
It can be whatever you want it to be, baby.
I think we're done here. We'll see you next week.
Just instant derailment. No, so the whole tracking back horror thing, one of the things I actually sketched in that book was, like, it started as me drawing, like, something fluffy. Like, it was almost like, I think I was drawing, like, Eevee or something. I don't know. It was something, like, cute and fluffy, and I was drawing it on this little notepad. And, like, a sticky note. And, like, when I drew it, I was like, you know, at one point it had, like, just, like, circles for eyes, and, like, I added little details to make it look less creepy, so it had, like, little sparkles in it, and I'm like, you know, I kind of liked it better when it looked creepy. So, like, I completely blacked out the eyes, and I was like, alright, let's take this a step further. So, like, I redrew it, kind of redesigned the head a little bit, and I changed the body. Originally it had, like, a, you know, kind of like Eevee's body, four-legged, but when I redesigned it, it had, like, a little ghost body with a scythe. And then I was like, how can I make this even worse? So I pulled out my little sketch pad, and I drew a version of it in there.
That's not something you generally hear from an artist. How can I make this worse?
But yeah, so I sketch, and I think the final rendition is easily the creepiest. It has the elements. The only thing that I couldn't decide on is, like, what type of body it should have. Mentally, I'm picturing it as being something, like, really tall and kind of hunched over. Like, if you remember...
Slenderman, kind of.
Well, no, I was actually going to say, do you remember the Digimon movie at all?
Yeah, we watched it fairly recently.
Yeah, the third section of it with Kokomon, when it's like that big thing with like the
freaky
lanky arms,
freaky ass rabbit thing.
Like that's kind of what I'm picturing is like it'd be kind of like big, like kind of hunched over with that big body, but like still like very lanky.
Yeah, because that's really another thing that like besides the eyes, like the shape of the body, like humanoid, but like stretched out and weird and disproportionate and all that. It's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
That's like the entirety of what makes Slender Man creepy, aside from the fact that he has no face. But I mean, like
the fact that he's just like
a display mannequin
really
has no
tall.
face, and it's not really creepy unless you live in the Doctor Who universe.
I don't know. I think mannequins are one of those things where it's like they're not supposed to be creepy, and they generally aren't, but there is something about them that's unsettling.
I guess. But, I mean, the point is, it's like, it looks human enough that you can identify it at first glance as human, but then when you get a better look at it, it's like, that is not fucking human. What the fuck? Its arms are as long as its body.
Yeah, that's why Slender Man's creepy. That's why the Rake is creepy.
Yeah.
Because it's humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I can think of plenty of things that play off that. Like, even in Dead Space, I'm not sure if they were in the first one, but they were in the second one, and it's one of the reasons I like the second one a little better than the first. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there is a type of alien, like, you know, in Dead Space, like, all the aliens are, like, infected. They're like the Flood, basically.
Okay.
And they, like, mutate into different forms. There's one of them that's this really, like, tall creature that's obviously used to be human.
Okay.
And it actually has like pieces of clothing on it, like it was wearing a shirt or something. Most of the other ones don't have those, and it makes a really creepy groaning sound. And if you kill it, all of its body parts split off into like little creepy spider things, and basically try to.
That's not okay.
Like one of the death scenes is it like wraps its tail around your neck, rips your head off, and then it kind of pokes its own head down into your neck and takes over your body.
Oh. Yeah,
like, that's easily the creepiest fucking thing in the game.
Wow. That sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, like, you could easily mistake one of them for Slender Man at first glance, and then you get another look at it, it's like, oh god, what the hell happened to you, Slender Man?
Slender Man, cocaine is one hell of a drug.
Yeah, really. And in the third one, I mean, I didn't particularly like the third one because there was way too much action, but there were a few really well done horror bits that had like a similar design concept, because it was kind of like more like Gollum, how they're like tiny little, I guess more like the Rake kind of.
Okay.
They're these little guys, not like little, but smaller than normal.
Right.
That kind of run around like Gollum style in the dark.
Ah.
And if you shine your light on them, it freaks them out, and they swarm you, like 12 of them, just all at once.
Oh. Well.
And
that sounds fun.
Aside from that, they're basically blind, so if you want to go through these areas really quietly, without relying on your flashlight too much, because they can see your flashlight. But other than that, it's just like whatever. And they also make kind of creepy noises. They kind of have like a sort of howling, chirpy kind of noise. It's just, if you hear them making that noise, you know you're fucked.
Yeah, that's another thing that can be creepy, is just like noises.
Like iconic sounds in general.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like when there's something that makes that sound and you hear it, it's like, oh fuck.
Well, like I'm Scared, a Pixelated Nightmare. That's a game that I think made an incredible use of sound.
I know we've talked about that before.
Yeah. But like just its use of sound, cuz like the first time the thing comes after you, it's this very sudden, loud, distinct, like I guess I want to call it like a siren. Is probably the best way to describe it.
I haven't played it in a while. It's been a while since I played it, but I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, and then later when, so like the second part of the game when you're in the, like the parking garage area or whatever, and you're running from it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not constantly chasing you, but as soon as it shows up, you know, because it makes that goddamn sound.
Yeah.
There was a point when I was playing where I almost ran straight in, because I thought it was behind me the whole time, and I'm like running, I'm, going in circles and stuff, trying to like, where the fuck do I go? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm running, and I see it in front of me, and I'm like... And I do this very slight curve, like, I barely missed it. Yeah, it was, like, right there. It just wasn't cool.
Speaking of running around and not knowing where the fuck to go, fucking Outlast is obnoxious with that. Like, it's terrifying. It never stops being scary.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, it's like, God damn it, where the fuck is this thing that I need to find so I can advance? Because, like, it's 99% of the game is spent in pitch black, so you have to navigate with your little camera with the night vision thing.
Yeah.
Using the night vision drains your battery, so you have to find more batteries to keep changing your battery. After a while, you're going to go through the same area like 15 times on your last battery before you finally find the one thing you missed. It's like, God damn it.
That is
It's
awful.
a little bit... And you're still having to hide and run away from things that are also trying to kill you.
Yeah. I look forward to playing that one. That's, like... It's one of those ones, it's like, I haven't played it yet, because... Again, it's one of those things where it's like, I want to record it when I play it.
It's a lot like Amnesia.
Okay.
Like, it's... Like, you spend the entire game in this one gigantic building. You're uncovering a mystery of what went on there while you're there.
Right.
And you're limited very much in your sources of light. So, like, in Amnesia, you have the lantern and you have to keep picking up oil. In Outlast, you have your camera and you have to keep picking up batteries. And you have to run away and hide from things that want to kill you because you can't fight for shit.
Fun fact about Amnesia, I spent 90% of that game in, like, pitch black because I didn't want to, like, use my Tinder. So, part of it is that conservation mentality I have where it's like, I need to save this because I might need it later.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is... I
don't want anything to know where the fuck I am except for me.
Like, I don't want things to see me. So I spent most of that game, like, crouch walking everywhere in pitch black.
Oh, if you love crouch walking in pitch black, you'll love Outlast.
Dude, I will be very slow, but I'll be efficient.
Yeah, really. Like, crawling around is, like, I found it's not necessarily the fastest, but it's definitely the safest way to get around, because if you start running, everything in the area hears your feet stomping on the floor, and there are some times where you have to start running. Like, there's no other way out. If, like, there's a door, here you are, here's the thing that wants to kill you. The only way out is to bolt for the door and hide under something in another room and hope it didn't see you go under there. Which is another thing, because they watch you. Like, they actually know what you're doing. And they will look under beds and search in lockers if they think you're in the area. So it's fucking terrifying even if you think you're safe.
Yeah. On that note, I really want to play the new Alien game. Like, so badly.
I want it to. That's...
Like...
I think I moved that up on my wish list even. It's just like, I want this game now.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted it before, but after seeing, like, a little bit of gameplay stuff and watching some reviews, it's like, I want this game.
Well, like,
this is an Alien game.
I didn't even know about it until one of the channels I follow posted a review. Like, he got to play it and, like, talk with the developers and stuff before it came out. And just the fact that the alien is, like, smart, like, it learns, like, okay, it knows you're there, it can smell you, so it's gonna start looking under things, it's gonna start looking in things to find you.
Oh, my God.
Like,
and that's another thing about horror enemies. The smarter they are, the fucking scarier they are. Like, that's just... It goes without saying. If it learns from you, or if it even pretends to learn from you, then that immediately makes it 1,000 times scarier.
Yeah, and I guess, like, if you use stuff like noisemakers too often, it'll eventually learn that, like, you're on the other side of that.
That's awesome and scary.
Yeah, that's, like, simultaneously terrifying and amazing. But, yeah, I guess, like, it's almost impossible.
Something else I heard about the new Alien game... Like, you have, like, the motion tracker, right? It's like, it's the one from Aliens, and it does it like, ping, ping, ping. It hears that!
Yeah.
Like, that's in the game. That's not just you hearing that noise, because, like, in Outlast, if your battery gets low, your camera starts beeping, and it's like, whatever, nobody else hears that. That's just to tell me that my battery's low.
Right.
If that was an Alien Isolation, I would be changing my batteries long before it started beeping at me.
Yeah.
Like, I do not want this thing beeping and giving me away. Even though technically it's a night vision screen on a camera screen, and my face should be lit up like a fucking Christmas tree right now. How have they not found me under this bed?
Yeah. Yeah, someone was telling me that, like, if you hide, like, say you're hiding in a locker or something and the alien's, like, looking for you, it'll give you a prompt to hold your breath.
Yeah, I saw that. But,
like, if you have the motion tracker out, it'll, like, pretend it's going away, and then it'll just come and get you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, oh, that's just mean. But yeah, like, it'll slowly move away if you're just, like, holding your breath
okay,
and you don't have
sure.
the tracker out.
You're not hiding in locker 23. Sure. I'm just gonna go this way now. Just kidding, you're dead!
Yeah. So, watching playthroughs of that, though, like, I want to watch the Alien movies again because it has been forever since I've seen those movies. Like, I must have been like 7 or 8 or something. Like, I was really young when I first saw those movies, and I haven't seen them since. Well, I say movies, but really, like, I only watched the first one and like half of the second one.
Well, the second one's really good.
As a kid, I got like halfway through, and there was one part, like, I can still picture it in my mind of like this alien, like, coming down or something. It was like upside down, and I was done. I was like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, I think now, if you watch them, you'd see that the first one is all about, like, horror and claustrophobia, and it's scary. It's a good sci-fi horror. And then the second one, they've got, like, soldiers with all the big guns, and they're kicking the shit out of a bunch of aliens. They're still getting their asses kicked, but it's not...
Yeah,
it's like the difference between Dead Space and Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
Like, there's horror...
It gets
there's
more action.
lots of horror and atmosphere, and then out come the guns and everything dies.
Yeah. And...
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'll say that I did like Dead Space 2. It's Dead Space 3 that I didn't like all that much.
And so, like, I kind of get it.
And funnily enough, it was Alien 3 that people didn't like all that much.
Yeah.
But they hated Alien Resurrection, which was the last one, so...
But,
it got better and then it got worse, from what I hear.
I noticed that, like, a lot of long-running horror series tend to do that. With games specifically, like, if it starts as survival horror, if they stay with the same story, eventually it kind of turns into more like action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Resident Evil is a good example of this, and I think part of it is just like,
it
once you know the story, well, one, it sells better, but also, like, once you know the story, it's hard to make things scary again because you already know, like, the big reveal, you know? Like, okay, Umbrella Corp is evil.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that before I even played any of the games or saw the movies. It's just like, they're a gigantic corporation. They're probably not up to anything good.
Yeah. But, you know, so I can understand why, like, alright, you're past the mystery, you're past the, like, the fear, the not understanding. Now you understand, so here you go, kill stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it.
I mean, that's Alien to Aliens. It's like, Alien is the first time they've encountered this creature. It kills pretty much everybody. She has to blow it out the airlock to finally get rid of it, and it still doesn't necessarily die. But it's no longer a problem. And the second one, everybody knows about what these creatures are. There's a whole planet that's infested with them. Send in the guys with the guns because we know how to kill them now. Yeah. And that's basically what happens.
But as much as I understand, like, why they do that with stuff, it does kind of suck because, like, that kind of ruins part of what makes those things interesting. Is, like, once you can kill it, it's not as scary.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it so easy / hard to make a horror game, is just to have that one enemy that you absolutely cannot ever kill.
Yeah.
In Amnesia and Outlast, it's basically everything that moves. You know, in Silent Hill, you have Pyramid Head, who basically one-shots you if he finds you. And, you know... Resident Evil... I haven't really played any Resident Evil, so I don't know if there's an equivalent in that one.
I don't really think so.
But the first Resident Evil had a whole bunch of other problems. I'm not gonna say anything to offend anybody, but I don't particularly care for Resident Evil. There, I said it.
Yeah, no, I tried playing it. That's the most I could say on that. But it's one of those things where I like the story too, the like world and stuff, and I find it interesting. Like, I actually haven't seen all the movies. I've seen a couple of them, and they're decent movies.
I have only seen the first one. I want to see a couple more of them because it sounds interesting.
Yeah. I want to say I've seen the fourth one and the second one in that order.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just how I happened to see those. But like I have the card game, which is really fun, and it's kind of cool because there's a lot of the world kind of just in the flavor of like how the cards are designed. But I've also like read a little bit on it and watched different videos on it. And it's one of those things where I want to know more. I want to play the games, but then like I try to play the first one and I'm just like, I can't do this.
Like, yeah, it's just, you gotta wonder how any sequels to that got made.
Yeah, it does not have the best.
Like, I can't imagine, like, even if
usability.
Like, hypothetically, if I were to have played it when it came out, I would have been like 7 or 8 years old. I could see how it would have been scary, but I think I still would have gotten frustrated by the control scheme.
Yeah.
It's just fucking obnoxious. And the whole limited save thing. Like, you use an item to save. So, on the one hand, it really makes you think about whether or not it's worth saving at a particular time.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to go longer without saving, so you're more likely to have a heart attack if something comes up that might be able to kill you. But at the same time, it's an annoying game mechanic.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, if you want to make a really good horror game with annoying mechanics, do it with permadeath for one thing. Like, if that character dies, that character is dead forever.
That would be
But on the other hand, you can't have that be the protagonist, because then there's no more story.
Yeah. So I wonder if it would be possible to like design a game that was a roguelike that was like a horror game.
I'm sure it's possible.
But a way to make it like interesting and not feel like still have a story to it, so it's not just like
the thing about
your casual roguelike.
The thing about roguelikes is you don't really connect with the character because of how easy it is for them to die.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably going to die 100 times before you actually get to the end of the game. So, and a big part of a horror experience is you don't want this character to die.
Yeah.
And in a horror game, it's usually because, I'll have to replay a section of the game, or witness a terrifying jump scare, or see this character that I like brutally murdered.
Yeah.
So a roguelike kind of eliminates the loss of progress. Well, it enhances the loss of progress thing, but kind of eliminates the connection to the character. So you have to find a way to tell the story.
Maybe if it was designed in a way to where, like, say there's 5 or 6 characters or something, and you can control any of them, and when you start out, depending on like which one you start with, you're experiencing it from their point of view, but then like if they die, they're dead. Like, it's not just like, they died, you go back to the last save point, they're gone. And then you resume from one of the other characters' perspectives, like somewhere else or something.
Yeah.
And how many people die would kind of affect
the story
how the story
evolves
plays
like
out.
on its own depending. Yeah, that would be interesting.
It would have like the whole branching, multi-ending thing that you don't see enough in games anymore.
Yeah. Like, the point of view thing actually makes me think of something interesting. Like, if different characters had like, what was it? There was a cardboard game where characters had like, I don't think it was House on the Hill. It was like a Cthulhu game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where the characters had like different stats and stuff, and there was like insanity or something. Maybe it was House on the Hill. I don't remember. But the point, if it randomly generates those characters, and if one has like, say, ridiculously high insanity, you're seeing everything from when you're playing as them. You're seeing it from their point of view. So if they're insane, you see everything differently.
Right.
Like in Amnesia, if you have high insanity, the paintings look different sometimes. So if they see everything like as a distorted version of what it is, you have to keep that in mind while you're playing as them, otherwise you might accidentally kill one of the other characters.
Yeah.
Because you might see them, and it's like, oh my god, it's a horrible monster! Bang, you're dead! Oh shit, that's Frank. Oh god, well, that's not good.
Not Billy!
Yeah.
Oh, Billy, no.
Something like that kind of happens in one of the Fear games. It's like the expansion to Fear 2, where you play... Like, part of the story in Fear 2 is that there's, like, this army of clone soldiers that they use, like, a guy to control psychically. And in Fear 2, they kind of go out of control, go crazy and stuff, but they're still, like, individuals, sort of. Because, like, a freaky little psychic girl still kind of has some control over them, but in one of the expansions to Fear 2, it's a story where you're playing as one of them, and suddenly, like you're with your squad, and suddenly you get, like, teleported away, and you have to fight off a whole bunch of these, like, scary monsters. And then you wake up, and your entire squad is dead.
Oh.
And somebody's sending out a distress message saying, like, oh, Soldier 252 just went berserk and killed everybody! Send backup! And it's like, oh shit, I just killed all my friends. I should probably go now. And it's like...
Huh.
And if you don't, like, fight all the monsters because you know what's happening, they just kill you and you die anyway. So it forces you to do that, and so even if you know what's going on, it's just, well, I don't like this, but I have to do it.
Huh, that's interesting.
So yeah, like, playing around with point of view and individual characters' perception would be very interesting to try.
I think it has good potential.
Or like in Psychonauts, how you have the, see how everything... Clairvoyance, yeah. And you look at
how things see you.
Milkman, and everything is like... Everything's got cameras poking out of it, and he's just like, everyone's watching me, so that's what he sees.
Yeah.
It's like, that's creepy, but an interesting, like, detail that they included.
The thing I really liked in that stage was how, like, when you would if you use clairvoyance on the secret agents.
Oh yeah, they see you as whatever you're holding. So yeah, like if you have the, like, rolling pin, they see you as, like, an old lady.
Yeah, I thought it was fun to, like, look at all the different things, like how they perceive you.
Mm-hmm. It's little details in that just make a game awesome.
Yeah.
Also the writing, and the art style, basically everything.
Yeah, no, it's.
But little details can be a lot of fun to just, like, throw in when you have, like, the extra time to work on it or whatever. It's just like, hey, what if the player does this? We should make a thing for that, just in case there's that very slight possibility they might do that.
Yeah. Some stuff like that can get, like, crazy convoluted. Where it's like, oh, you do this, and this, and this, and then this one little tiny Easter egg shows up.
Well, I mean,
why?
There's
who would comprehend that?
The dev team, they think of everything.
Apparently. Well, there was that idea we had for the room of unimaginable horror.
The room of terrifying creepiness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like since that has such a low chance of actually being implemented, we can safely talk about it. Maybe somebody else will put it in their game, but...
So the idea was... Well, so we actually had two ideas for this. One of them was, it was a room that, it was hidden, but, like, it was findable. And you would walk in, and it would be in this horror-style game, but it would be, like, this pink, fluffy room with, like, bunnies and stuff. But then, like, the audio would be, like, some backmasked thing, like...
It'd just be, like, all the creepiest audio you've ever heard, just, like, concentrated and, like, squeezed into a fine juice of pure horror.
But then we had the other idea for, like, the true room of terror, and it would be this door that would have a random chance of showing up in this hallway, and if you were going through the hallway and that door was there when you walked in, it would just be the most terrifying thing you've ever seen, heard, everything. Yeah. Just the worst possible thing. But then once you left, it would never show up again.
Never, ever again.
Like,
so there would be that one person who finds it and is like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? I need to tell somebody about this. I'll remember where this is so I can come back here later. and then they try to show somebody, and it's just not there, and they can't figure out how it happened.
Yeah, like, it would be impossible to recreate it.
It's like a
insanely low random
It's like
chance.
a manufactured gaming urban legend. Because there's all those, like, creepy Easter eggs and weird stuff in, like, other games. It's just completely out of place. We're doing it on purpose and making it look like one of those.
Yeah. And yeah, that was the whole thing that inspired it, was just, like, looking at stuff like that.
Yeah, there was, like, an article on, like, creepy gaming urban legends and stuff like that. And some of them are true and some of them are... It's just like, okay, I see what that is. I don't really get how that's creepy, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Like, there's some that are...
There's some that are, it's just like, oh god, why? And some that are just like, okay, why?
Yeah.
Like, there's a thing in World of Warcraft where it's like, there's like the pentagram kids that go into the house, and then
there's like the group of 5 children that walk from like town to town in the formation of a pentagram, and then they go to this one house.
And the minute you step in that house, the music changes, and it's like creepy music, and it's just like, okay. That's a little ominous.
So, why?
And then suddenly a voice just says, "You will die." It's like, oh! I don't want to be in this house anymore!
It's like, why would they do this? Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a creepy little Easter egg that they decided to throw in for the hell of it.
Yeah, and then there's the stuff with, like, zero explanation that's just, like, there in a game, like the Mario Galaxy Hell Valley Sky Trees, quote unquote, and there's like little like
those don't look like trees. Those are clearly eyes and arms.
Yeah,
those are not trees.
Like, why? So why is there even like a stage file called Hell Valley?
Well, the theory is that that's what, like, in development, that was like the working name for the stage that they appear in. Because, I mean, when you're working on a game, you can call anything whatever you want, because that's not going to be what's released.
I guess,
I mean, we could call a level of Gunwizard, like, Happy Sparkly Pony Town, while we're working on it, and then change it to something else when we release it.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. It's just like... But then, like, why? Why put these figures up there in this one spot, in this one stage, where it doesn't make any sense for them to be there?
There are several possibilities. One, they're just trolling the fuck out of everybody.
Well, yeah.
Two, they put it in there and meant to take it out as like a placeholder and just forgot about it. Or 3, it's actually meant to be a tree and it just doesn't look like it, and it's, it ended up looking kind of creepy.
Even if it was meant to be a tree, though, like, why would they put, like, one thing, like, off in the distance?
Okay, revisiting possibility 2, it was a placeholder, and they meant to have them all over the place to see how it would look up there, and they decided, it's not really distinguishable from down here, so let's just forget about it. And then they forgot to take the ones they put in out.
I like to go with the theory that they just put it in there to fuck with people.
That's entirely all. They could all be mashed together. Like, they originally put it in there to test to see how it looked, and then they were going to take it out, and then they were like, you know what, let's just leave it in there. It's kind of creepy looking. We'll see if anybody notices.
Fair enough. I could see that working, but yeah.
Exactly. It's just... The point is, it's in there, and it's not going anywhere. But then you get creepy stuff, like, I forget which Grand Theft Auto it was, but you can, like, get inside, like, the equivalent of the Statue of Liberty, and there's, like, a gigantic human heart inside there, just kind of covered in chains and actually beating.
Oh.
Yeah. That's just a little bit weird. And that had to be intentional. Like, there's no way that was unintentional or accidental or anything like that. They put that in there for people to find and be like, Rockstar, your Statue of Liberty's got a heart? Why?
Or like the Nightmare Room in Psychonauts.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's so well done because, like, it's the happiest level. Like, it's Mila's dance party. It's all disco and bright lights. And then there's this little room off in the distance that you can get to. And she even tells you, like, oh, honey, don't go in there. And then you go in and you're like, I should have never come in here. You were right. I'm leaving.
Yeah, really. Like, apparently, I think from what I read, that stage was supposed to be the first time you fought the nightmares. Okay. Like instead of in the Milkman level.
Right.
But they moved it back because it was like an early level and it was kind of a difficult fight to be doing so early in the game, so they pushed it back.
I could see
so
that.
It probably would have tied more into that, and they just kind of pushed that into, you know what, we'll just put this here and it'll be an Easter egg for anybody who finds it. A little bit of backstory.
And we'll leave the room where she has like all the nightmares like locked away basically behind like the cage or whatever.
So yeah, I mean the room itself is kind of creepy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like I think that's a good example of like putting something in a game just for the sake of having that one creepy thing that's just there to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other ones, because there's a few of them out there. Like, hidden stuff in games where it's just like, there's like a ghost here, or...
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto does that shit like all the time, deliberately. Like,
yeah.
I think it's in Grand Theft Auto 5, there's like a ghost that you can like see at a certain point through like a sniper scope. And it like leaves a message in blood if you go find it or something.
Yeah, if you go out to the rocks where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's other ones like I've read about, but I can't think of them right now.
Sonic CD had a couple of things that you could like, just like random pieces of art that you could get to by entering certain codes.
Was that the one that had like that one creepy Sonic image?
Probably.
It's like really dark.
Considering none of the other Sonic games had anything like that, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah. But it was just like a bunch of random art and stuff.
I can't even think of how to describe that image. The one I'm
like
thinking
with
of.
With the like freaky weird face.
Yeah, it's like mostly black, and it's just like the blue of Sonic.
Yeah.
Like that's the only bit of color in it.
It's like, okay, somebody is fucking with me right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Or you've heard about the one in Pokemon X and Y, right?
The elevator girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard.
The random ghost girl that no one knows, like, what's up with that? And then there's, like, a couple other, like, little things hidden in the game in, like, weird places that kind of connect to it.
Yeah. I've heard about that and saw a video where that was mentioned. I don't know much about it because I don't fucking have Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah, it's just like, if you go to this certain building at a certain, like, point in the game or something, and you get off the elevator at this one floor, the girl just shows up behind you, and there's, like, some other girl that if you talk to her, it's like, be quiet, if you keep talking, I can't hear the elevator. And then I guess there was some other message or something, I forget what it was, that kind of related to that, like, it's in this one area and it's on the back of like a billboard. So like you would have to go back there and just decide to hit A on the back of this sign to find this message.
And it says like I'm going for help or something like that. Like,
yeah,
what the hell happened here? And do I want to know?
Yes.
Clearly somebody died.
Clearly.
Implied creepy backstories. God damn, I want to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I know. I can't wait to play it.
Next week.
Yeah, no. I look forward to it, and then I can watch, like, I want to say, like, at least 8 videos in my, like, watch later queue on YouTube of, like, stuff I want to watch that relates to Five Nights at Freddy's that I've been avoiding watching for the past, like, 3 months solely because I don't want to ruin the experience for myself.
Yeah, like, I haven't subjected myself to any such restraints because I started watching... I've seen, like, every major Let's Play of that game to come out, and all the theory videos, and even some parodies, which are pretty damn hilarious, but... I
heard they released a trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 recently.
Yeah, the sequel is going to come out in like a few months.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, and at the same time, I still haven't played the first one yet.
We'll get to it.
We will get to it.
I'll
Next Friday,
Halloween.
Halloween night.
Yeah. Which, when this goes up, that'll
2 days. Be 2 days from now.
Yeah.
Gotta love how recording a podcast in advance works.
Yeah. I also kind of look forward to seeing if maybe a few more people show up so we can do the giveaway that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, like, Amnesia's been out for a long time. I feel like most people have already, like, gotten it and played it, but there's got to be someone out there who doesn't have it that might be interested in getting it.
It's a fantastic game. It's an amazing horror game. It restored my faith in horror as a game genre. Because until I played that, the only real horror game I'd experienced was Silent Hill 2, which is good, but, you know, it has its own problems, being kind of an older game.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not... Overall, it didn't scare me. There were a few parts that really terrified me, but overall, I'd say it was about maybe 80% not scary, 10% somewhat creepy, and another 10% was actually truly horrifying.
Yeah. I think that, like, with the horror genre in general, I think why I have a hard time finding stuff that really gets to me is because a lot of it is jump scares, really.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like the world we live in. Like, people are looking for quicker gratification, so stuff that's more drawn out, it's harder to sell that.
Yeah.
But I really like stuff that gets into your head. That's what I find is truly terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my brother were actually talking about this recently. We were talking about horror movies and how most of them are just like a lot of jump scares, and there's not really a lot to the concept of them usually.
Yeah, like even the old, like, classic horror movies, like,
yeah,
you know, like Friday the 13th or Halloween or like all the, like, slasher movies. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's just like people dying in brutal ways, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That even, like, at the time when those came out, I don't think that really would have appealed to me.
Yeah. I think that's why Slender Man really got me when I first came across Marble Hornets, back when there was only, like, 15 videos, and, like, I started watching it. It was legitimately creepy, because there was this thing it didn't do, like, the jump scares, like, oh, suddenly it's right there in your face.
It did occasionally, like, but sparingly enough that they were effective.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't like every 5 minutes, blah! It was like, it would be like 15 minutes of, okay, I'm walking, what was that? Okay, it was nothing, I'm walking, 15 minutes later, blah!
Yeah, like, and it was just, like, the whole concept of it, like, you don't know anything about it. It's really, like, eerie and creepy, and so far, I can only think of one movie I've seen, like, in the past couple years that has really pulled off that same level of, like, eerie, and that's Sinister. Have you seen that one?
Sinister. No, and I keep mixing it up with Insidious because the title sounds so similar. Insidious is the one where the kid, like, goes into, like, the dream world.
Yeah.
I have not seen Sinister.
Okay, so Sinister, so it's about this family. The guy is, like, he's like a writer.
Uh-huh.
And he moves his family into this house that happens to be this house where people were murdered.
Of course.
And he's doing it as, like, he likes to be at the place for, like, research purposes for while he's writing his book or whatever.
Oh, so he knew in advance that it was, like, a haunted place.
Yeah. And, like, and his wife gets pissed at him because she's like, you said you weren't going to do this again, move us into a house where someone was fucking murdered. What the fuck? He's like, it's okay, it was in the backyard. Oh, that's much better. But,
yeah. That I'm sure that no vengeful spirits will come inside from the backyard.
But, he finds this box in the attic, and it has, like, a old, like, video player and some, like, reels.
Mm-hmm.
And each of these reels is, like, broken, so, like, it plays for a little bit. There's, like, you know, like, a family having fun or whatever, and then, like, the next scene is most of the family dying.
Oh.
Like, with each of these, like, and there's, like, all these multiple cases that end up being connected to this thing, and in each of these cases, like, a couple of them have this symbol that shows up, that gets brought up later, like, okay, what is this symbol? But in each of them, there's always like a kid that goes missing.
Okay.
And it turns out there's like this, like in the background of one of the videos, like in a mirror or something, he notices there's this figure that's back there. And like he starts going through all the other videos again, looking for this figure, and he finds it in each of them.
It's like Slender in like the 1960s.
Basically.
That's interesting. I might
like,
have to...
It is a terrifying movie. Like, I don't want to spoil like the big reveal at the end, but like I didn't really see it coming. Like, it actually kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, that's what's going on. But, like, basically, there's this thing, it's basically the boogeyman, and it's killing these people off. And
okay.
Just the whole way it all plays out and, like, leads up to, like, the final scene at the end, it's really well done, and it captures that feeling of Slender where it's like, you don't really know what this thing is, you don't know what's going on, you don't know why this is happening, and it's a well done movie. I recommend it.
I think, like, on the subject of like Slender and like camera and jump scares and that kind of stuff, I think my favorite kind of jump scare is like, this is kind of an oxymoron, but it's like a subtle jump scare, and it's like where you have the camera looking around, like they turn away and they turn back, and suddenly there's something there that wasn't there, and like there's no like suddenly like of like scary music or anything like that. It's just suddenly there's that thing that wasn't there before, and it's like, holy shit, oh god. And like
I get what you're talking about.
I've had that happen to me like in things that weren't even horror movies. Like when I was watching Lost, when that was still like coming out, there was like this one short scene where these people are like, they find this like room of security cameras, and there's one of them that's like going back and forth, and they're watching it, and it goes back and forth once, and it goes back, and there's like a guy standing there, and I was like, holy shit, that was okay. All right. And like it wasn't even like in a horror context. It was just suddenly there. It's like, oh, hello?
I find stuff like that is most effective when it's like super subtle. Like, I like when they do stuff like that and it's like hidden. Like, say they're
like the Slender Man being in the background of like every shot,
and like it's there in the background, but like even the character doesn't notice that it's back there. Like, and you're not going to catch it the first time through a lot of the time. Sometimes you'll have to watch it like once or twice before you actually, like 3 or 4 times before you actually like see like, oh shit, there's a thing back there. And I love that stuff because that's like extra creepy because it's not having the attention drawn to it. It's just suddenly there.
And just like things in the background.
Yeah.
Like in the like background, like you don't notice it until somebody's like, hey, did you notice at like whatever time in the video there's something in the background there? And you look at it and it's like, oh god, what?
Yeah.
And that, I think that was another thing that makes like Slender Man, so like Marble Hornets and all that, is that happens like all the fucking time. Like there've been times, like even in the earlier videos, where it's just like somebody points that out and I'm like, really? And then I go back and it's like, oh yeah, he's there. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I find it kind of funny how like a big Slender Man has become. For the first, it was just Marble Hornets initially that really like turned me on to Slender Man. Like I think that's where he really became like that was
kind of what like got him out there.
Yeah, because
he's been like a
thing on like the like creepypasta boards and stuff.
Yeah,
for a while.
Like, well, the original like. It was a Photoshop contest.
Yeah.
And it was the theme was take a non-creepy image and put something in it that makes it creepy. And somebody had like this photo of kids on a playground and they stuck a little guy with no face in the background. And that just kind of blew up into a full-blown creepypasta meme.
Yeah. But yeah, like it became a little more well-known with Marble Hornets, but then like the Slender game came out. And, like, at first, like, I played it and I was like, oh, okay, that was really good. Like, and then, like, a week after I played it, I'm watching Toonami, and, like, they do a review
of
it.
They did the review.
And then, like, the next day I see, like, Rooster Teeth puts up a video, and it's just like, suddenly it explodes everywhere. It's just like, oh my god. Like, I caught this at the perfect time. Like, I was... Like, that's my most viewed video I have on my channel still.
Not surprising, because You got it out at the time when it was in the process of exploding in popularity.
Yeah, it still doesn't have that many views, but it's still far above everything else I have, because I got it at like that right time where it's like just as it hit, like suddenly everyone knows about it. But what was I gonna say? I had a thing and then I lost it.
There was also Everyman Hybrid, which I think is still updating, but I kind of just lost track of it.
Yeah, I stopped for a while. Like, eventually I'll probably go back to both Marble Hornets and Everyman Hybrid and catch up, because I haven't watched either of those in forever. But with how slow they are to update... Like,
that shit kept me from sleeping for a few nights.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was... I mean, I had been watching Marble Hornets, and when somebody posted, like, Everyman Hybrid video, I watched the first couple episodes, like, okay... This is stupid. There's Slenderman in the background. They're trying to build it up to be all creepy. Woo. And then somebody's like, no, that's the point. It's like a meta joke kind of thing. I was like, what? Yeah, they're putting it in there on purpose and making it obvious because they're trying to make it like it's a joke in the video. And I was like, okay. I guess I'll watch a couple more. Oh, God, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah.
Why is it growling? Why are they holding the door shut? Why did they kill that guy's dog and use it as a decoy? I'm scared of this thing and I don't even know what it is.
When they introduced the rake, I had the most paranoid night of my life. I actually had the hardest time sleeping I've ever had that night.
Yeah, exactly.
I fell asleep with all my lights on, holding a knife.
Wow.
Like, that was the only way I could fall asleep that night. I had a knife, like, ready. Like, I woke up, I was like, hi, knife. How are you? I see I'm still holding you here.
Yeah, I don't think... Like, I didn't have that bad a problem eventually getting to sleep, but, there was one of the side... Like, a video from one of the, like, side accounts, because they had, like, different people. There was one where the guy's dog was, like, scratching at his closet door, and you keep hearing, like, a little voice whispering.
Yeah.
That was, like... That scared the shit out of me, and, like, I went to sleep that night... Woke up in the middle of the night. I've told you this story before, yeah. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I heard, like I was mostly not quite conscious yet, so nothing really sounded like what it was. I heard a voice in my room. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And then I, like, actually, like, fully came to consciousness. It was my radio. Because, like, I keep my radio on at night, and it was, like, a commercial on the radio. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep now.
Yeah. No, that probably would have given me a heart attack. The interesting thing about that video in particular is when I first saw that one, I actually didn't catch the whispering voice. Like, I was just like, his dog's freaking out about something, there's something in there. Like, and I didn't really notice the voice until, like, I rewatched it a couple times later. I was like, holy shit. That's not okay.
That's very not okay.
But, and then, like, reading the story for, like, the rake, like, the original, like, written stuff for it is just as creepy. Like, I think they have the creepiest, like, rendition of it, because I've seen, like, different artist representations of it, but, there's the one video they have where you kind of see it, and it's, like, running on all fours, kind of, like, feral-like. Yeah. And I think that's one of the creepiest things, because it's the most human-looking of the renditions.
But it acts the least human. Like,
yeah.
Like, this thing wants to just eat you. And, I mean, like, with Slender Man, it's just like, he just kind of stands there and fucks with your mind. This thing just wants to eat you.
Yeah.
And apparently it's kind of intelligent, which makes it even more terrifying, because apparently... Theoretically, if it's smart, you could communicate with it. But that's not really gonna do a damn bit of good, because it just wants you dead.
Yeah. Like, things that make stuff insanely terrifying. One, if it's human enough that, like, it's kind of, like, recognizable. Like, okay, that's human, but then, like, there's the one or two things that are just off about it, be it body shape or how it moves, that really just, like... destroy it and make it terrifying.
Yeah, like in some horror games and movies and stuff, like, you have a person, but they're doing that, like, weird seizure kind of twitchy weird thing.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Nothing should move like that. Just stop it.
Yeah. Like, there's that, and then there's, like, sound, and then there's the idea that there's a monster that's intelligent, meaning it can learn, it can think, it can trick you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Just the fact that you might get lucky and be able to trick it once, but that's not gonna work a second time. Like, you throw a rock across the room, it's gonna investigate it, and it's like the alien, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, the last time I heard a noise over there, he escaped through the other door. I'm going to go investigate that other door right now. There you are! Bet you're mine!
Yeah. That's a big part of why I want to play the Alien game, because, like, it learns.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, that
enough.
reminds me of a very basic idea I wrote down for another horror. Like, people are already trying to rip off Five Nights at Freddy's.
Of course.
I almost want to do the same thing, but do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, use similar concepts, but in a different context. So, I kind of had, like... This was before I knew a lot about the new Alien game, so it's probably gonna rip off more of that. But basically, it's like... Like, you know basically what Five Nights at Freddy's is, right? You're in the security office, and you look at the cameras. So, it's like... You're on, like, a space station... And there's, like, an alien creature or something or whatever that escapes from containment and kills everybody else on board, and you have to, like, look at security cameras to find out where it is and trap it while you run the fuck away and try to get to safety. And you repeat that until you can, like, get off the station or blow it up or whatever. So you would have to, like, find a way to lure it into somewhere where you can hold it for a while, but it'll still escape no matter what.
Huh.
But the point is, you're, like, watching through these, like, grainy security cameras, and you might think you see something move. It's like, was that it? Or was that it over here in this room? I don't know. I'm nervous. It might be right behind me. I'm gonna turn around, okay? Oh, look, there it is, staring right at the camera. Oh, the camera's dead. And it just, like, gets... Because it's claustrophobic already.
Yeah.
No matter what. And then you have it very clearly inching its way towards you. And then it's like, if it takes out a camera, you go into full panic mode. It's like, oh god, what do I do? Camera, okay, need to hide, gotta run. So it'd kind of be like, I guess like Outlast, but with Five Nights at Freddy's mechanics, kind of.
That could be interesting. I could see that working in a way. Kind of like a combination of all these decent horror games into this thing.
I mean, that's kind of what, like, happens when... I mean, nowadays, there's no such thing as an original idea.
Yeah, no.
Everything is either a ripoff or a combination or whatever, and...
Yeah, it's very hard to come up with something that, like,
Even if you think something sounds original, if you do enough research, you'll find what clearly inspired it.
Yeah, or you'll even find, like, the same thing done by someone else. Like, you may not even know about the other thing, but...
That's like... I don't like to call something a ripoff unless it's obviously a ripoff.
Yeah.
Like, some of the shit on Greenlight is an obvious Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff with, like, lazy graphical work and all that bullshit. It's just like, this is a ripoff.
Yeah.
This game over here that uses the same mechanics but has clearly had work put into it, that I will allow the claim that it was inspired and not ripping it off.
It's like all the different, like, mining games that came out after Minecraft.
Exactly.
Like, spend 10 seconds on the Xbox Live Marketplace.
And the only reason they're popular is because they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is #1 in the marketplace. Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. It's exactly the same as Minecraft, but this costs 99 cents, whereas Minecraft is like $30. It's not hard to see why somebody would want to buy this shitty version of a real... It's like a bootleg.
Basically.
Except that, you know, there's no, like, real copyright. You can't copyright breaking blocks.
Yeah. You can't copyright virtual Legos.
That's basically... Well, I mean, virtual Legos has already been done to death before anyway. There's, like, what was it, Roboblocks or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you could argue that was the original Minecraft. But Minecraft did it better, I guess you could argue. Or you could argue that it did it worse. The point is, Minecraft's more popular.
Yeah.
And so you can steal the block building mechanic. You can't steal creepers. Or like the design of the character, like the blue shirt mustache guy, Steve. You can't steal the exact same pixel art for the tools and all that stuff. Because that's an in-game asset. They copyright, well, not necessarily copyrighted, but it's kind of implied that they own that design.
Yeah.
So, basically, if you rip off Minecraft, you can only rip off you break a block here and place a block there. We were talking about horror games.
And now Minecraft. Everything leads to Minecraft.
Well, it's a very versatile game, so you could make that argument, really. I mean, people make pixel art in it.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I've tried to make some pixel art in it. To varying degrees of success.
Well, you made the 3D Magus.
Yeah, no, like I've taken a couple steps. Like I made Magus into 3D. I started trying to do it with a character from Tactics, and I got partway there. And then of course, like I did pixel art of Ultros, and then I was like, you know what'd be awesome? Kefka's Tower.
Except Minecraft literally is not tall enough.
Well, I was gonna have it laying down.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't get too far. I spent like 3 hours doing like the darkest shade, just one color. Spent like 3 hours doing that for a fourth of it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. But I actually want to go back to that project and finish that at some point. It's just, God, it's gonna take forever. But I'll get to it. I have done worse.
You know, I'm surprised we managed to stay on track for an hour.
Yeah, no, for the most part.
We did not deviate from horror discussion at all until the very last couple minutes.
We kind of had like little branching bits, but we mostly stayed.
Yeah, overall we managed to stay like on horror and specific horror games and movies. Happy Halloween, everybody! This has been SpellCast. We talked about a bunch of horror games and why we like or do not like certain ones.
Yeah.
We will see you next week, hopefully.